G'day everyone, Dan here. Today I'm going to do something a bit different and make pork belly pies out of the leftover pork belly I made last night. I've done this a bit differently. I've got a video on how I did pork belly. This one's a bit different though. I'm going to do another video on it soon. But I don't have much. There's probably, I could weigh that, but there's probably only 150, 200 grams of pork belly. So I'm going to bulk up the meat with bacon as well. Not much. Just normal onion chopped roughly, and mushrooms, and I've got lemon thyme, Dijon mustard to go on that. So basically I've got 1 litre of chicken stock sitting on the stovetop just heating up now, and I'm going to just reduce this down over several hours. So I've got a video on how I did leftover brisket pie, similar process. Just for this one I'm going to do it with pork belly instead and see how we go. Hopefully it comes up alright. It's been something I've been toying with the idea of for a while, but now I've actually got some pork belly, you know, there we go. And this pork belly's quite meaty, so it should be good. So I'll chop all this up. Obviously I'll just chop the bacon as well. I might chop this fairly fine, so I'll come back. I won't do that on camera. Anyway, I'll come back once that's ready to go, that stock. We'll go into what the other ingredients we're going to add. Okay, so I've got this slightly starting to simmer now. I'll turn the heat down off that. I'm going to move this across to this smaller jet here later on. But what I'll do first, I'll add a teaspoon of mustard, or it's just a tablespoon of mustard. Mix that in. This is actually based off a similar recipe I got for a chicken pot pie, but instead I'm using the pork belly, obviously, so we can only see what it turns out like. So in goes there. Half the mushrooms, so it should be about 200 grams roughly of mushrooms. Just dump them in. I use about half of that, just over half, whatever, roughly. I'm not too concerned. Yeah, that's about half. So the rest of this stuff will go in. So we've got the pork belly. In it goes the bacon, the mushroom, and I've got 1 clove of garlic here as well that's going in. I won't worry about throwing any other seasonings in that. Actually, I'll put some pepper in that, I lie. But that's it. The salt. I've already seasoned the meat up, obviously, fairly heavily when I smoked it yesterday. So I don't really think there's a requirement for any of that. And I'll just add pepper to that to flavour, or to taste. And I think I'll be good to go. So this is one of those experimental things, like I said. I'm hoping it comes up good. I'm really looking forward to this. If it ends up being a bit of a flop, well, you get that. But hopefully, all going well, it should come up pretty good. So what I'll do is I'll let that reduce, obviously. Just leave that, stir that together, get that mustard to spread in there. That'll all just break down. I'll throw my sprig of thyme, just pretty much break it up loosely and put it in there. Not really too concerned. This is straight from my garden as well, so this is what we have at the moment. We'll see all just big mess of food in a pot. Obviously those mushrooms will reduce right down. That pork belly will get to a point where it'll just shred apart. So now I'll just play the waiting game, about 4 or 5 hours. Okay, we'll come back and have a look at that as we're going through the progress of the cook. Okay, so this is about 4 hours in now, and I've just added a teaspoon of corn flour with a little bit of water to help start thickening that up. As you can see there, that's what we're looking at. All that pork belly's reduced down. So that's a fairly rich tasting mix. I'm going to let that reduce down a little bit more. What I've got is I'm going to add a couple of tablespoons of this to it. So I'm going to add that in, help cut through that richness just a little bit. And what I'll do is let that just simmer down a little bit more. Then what I'll do is I'll come back and I'll just get this, sorry if that camera work. What I'll do is I'll come back and let that chill down before I, that should be enough. I'll come back and I'll let that chill down before I start filling it into the pie. So this will take probably a little bit more just to thicken up now. I've added that cream. Stir that in good, and that'll cut some of that richness of that out. That's pretty salty and rich because of the pork belly, obviously. So yeah, I'll give that an extra Smells nice. Half an hour just to reduce that down, let it cool down. It should be right to get those into the barbecue to cook those pies. Okay, so this is our consistency now. Nice and thick and good. Not much moisture left in that. I added some spring onion to it. Basically, I'm just going to fill my pie dishes now and throw that into the barbecue. So we'll come back and have a look at the final result. I'm using puff pastry for this, as I do with most of my pies. So yeah, I'll get a filling, get this on the barbecue, and we'll come back and have a look at the final result. Okay, so these have been on now for about 15 minutes in the barbecue at about 180 degrees. So I'm going to give them about probably 3 or 4 more minutes, and I'll be happy with them. But that's how they're coming along. We'll get them out soon and we'll have a look at what they look like on the inside. Alright, so there we have it. That's our pork belly pie there. That's how it came out of the tins. This one right here. So you can see it's come up quite nicely there, and that's the inside filling. Not too watery, so just right this time. Happy with that. And the filling tastes delicious. So there you go. Pork belly, bacon, mushroom and onion pie. Until next time, guys, take care.